Hey friends, it's Carol Saltbox Stitcher back for another YouTube video. Here I am again. So what am I going to talk about today? Cross stitch? A few other things. Sometimes I don't feel like I have a lot to show, and then I sort of start bringing stuff out and I think, maybe I have more than I thought. So I have a few things I got, delightful deliveries, which by the way, Jane and Julie, Running with Scissors, Stitching with Jane and Julie are not doing videos anymore. You will be missed, but I get it because as a fellow floss tuber, I get it. So anyway, we miss you or hope you're still stitching, and check in occasionally, let us know. I have some fully finishes, 10 to be exact. I know, shocking. I have a finish, and then I have what I've been stitching, what I'm going to have order some frames for, and a little bit of fall that I'm kind of toying with, yearning for, whatever. How can I help you, dear?
Coffee.
Oh, no, water is fine. I think I left my water right there. But I don't have a coaster. So that's kind of a tall order. You gotta... Thank you, dear. This was a gift. Stitch more, worry less. He's gone. Okay, get to it here. Oh, life update. I don't have any. I'm alive. It's hot. It's Florida. This happens every year. I'm kind of shocked when people are like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. It's like, yeah, it's summer. And summer in Florida is hot and humid and sunny. We're the Sunshine State. So, anywho, it's hot. I stay inside and stitch. Oh no, here he's good. What?
I was cleaning out my dresser drawer of old t-shirts. I found my very favorite one. I thought it was gone.
Okay.
Can I show it to him?
I guess. Go ahead. Oh, I think I got that one for you, and I got one for each of the kids.
Living the dream.
Okay, goodbye. Okay, let's show my FFOs first. I'm not a great FFOer. In fact, if I had sent these to a professional finisher and they came back like this, I probably wouldn't pay the invoice. It's like reject. But for me, they're okay. I fill with sawdust, so occasionally there might be a little flake of sawdust on them, so I'm sorry if there is. But anyway, this is Heartstring Samplery, and the pattern is called Sweet Land of Liberty. I made cording. I'm not a great cording maker. I'm also not a very straight gluer. I glue my cording on. I just put a check on the back. I like checks on the back because, you know, or a small polka dot. I don't want something that's going to compete with the front. Not that you see both at the same time, but sometimes you kind of do. Anyway, this is Heartstring Samplery, Sweet Land of Liberty. I put a little pin up here with a little rusty star. I call them dark and dirty. Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow, she calls it rusty crusty. So either. And that's the chart. Heartstring Samplery, Sweet Land of Liberty. I'm not going to take all these out of the packaging. And true to form, he's eating. He's always eating. I said, let's wait till after you eat lunch to do the video. So now he's still eating. It's okay, dear. This one, I didn't get out the pattern, but this is Holiday Hoopla Summer something by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. I had my husband stain the hoop because I wanted it darker. I used a flag fabric on the back. And basically I cut them bigger, do a running stitch around the outside and then draw it up. And I did that on both the back and the front. And then I put this little star. I have these little rings too. I don't know if they came with the stars. And I put it in there between the mechanism of the hoop. I was gonna tie a bow, but to me it's like, okay, enough with the bows. I'm not a bow person. Although when my daughter was growing up, when she was little and I did a lot of smocking, I used to make her these hair bows, that were like this size. And one day we were somewhere and my husband, he looked at me and he said, "Does she have to always look like a package?" Yes, she does. Okay, the next one I finished is Land That I Love by Threadwork Primitives. Now, I had stitched all of these way before. These aren't new stitches. They're just new FFOs. Because apparently my finishes have to age for a while before I either fully finish them or frame them. So I just put some blue rickrack, tied a little bow with rusty star. So, Land That I Love by Threadwork Primitives. And here's the pattern for that. I didn't get out that holiday hoopla, the last one I showed you, because not that I couldn't find it, but I didn't have it out. So this is this one, Threadwork Primitives, Land That I Love. Okay, keep going. The next thing I fully finished. What did you do with it? Must be here somewhere. Here it is. This was the piece that my sister and I worked on together. This is Basketful of Summertime by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. I believe you can get this on her website, which is Country Stitches Online. And here I did mine on 40 count summer khaki. Some of the other ones I don't know what I did them on that I've shown you already. I don't have some of these things that I did a long time ago. I didn't used to put the thread into my book of days. I mean the linen color in my book of days. I talked about this one last week, how the two colors of parchment and roasted marshmallow are different now than they used to be. It's almost like they're the opposite. So anyway, Basketful of Summertime. And this one I decided to put on a horn book. And in person, it's kind of hard to see, but in person, this color matches the basket. I'm pretty sure I got this off Etsy, but I'm not sure from whom. So anyway, I just put a little bit of batting, attached that to a piece of mat board, and then added the red rickrack. It's not great. And then I glued the star. Again, simple but enough. And then, shocker, I fully finished all of my red, white, and bloom. This is also by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And I use the called for Winter Brew by R&R. And so there's 5 of these all together. This is the first one. And these I just used a gold rickrack because the bloom part is the sunflower. So I thought they would be cute with gold rickrack and then the red backing. So that's the first one. Here's the next one, the eagle on the watering can. I love watering cans. Some of this I need to kind of touch up. I just did some of these in the last few days, and sometimes the glue kind of needs to be, if you didn't quite. I don't like to put I like to do a thin line of glue, so sometimes you'll have kind of breaks in the glue and then it doesn't stick real well, but that's the second one. And I have a pretty big dough bowl. I also have things back here, and I probably will leave this stuff out till the end of July, the patriotic. This is the red, white, and bloom, also with the eagles, again with the gold rickrack. It's a mini rickrack. Some of this you can purchase from Country Stitches online. Also, Farm Girl Dry Goods, sometimes they'll carry it. It's the mini rickrack and it's cotton. And then the next one is the teeny one. This is the Uncle Sam hat with the sunflower. And you can see this one's really small. Again with the gold rickrack, same backing, red check. And then we have Uncle Sam with the sunflower. Again, same backing, same rickrack. So I finished all those, fully finished. And then the next one I wanted to show you that I fully finished. This is a blackbird, and I've had this done for a long time. In fact, I bought the kit originally at Country Sampler. And again, this isn't great as far as finishing. This is the Ooh La La book. Oops. Ooh La La by Blackbird Designs. And this is called the Mon Petit Exemplar Sewing Bag. And because I purchased it as a kit from Country Sampler, it had the linen, the thread, the lining, and the ribbon. And I've had it ready to fully finish eons. And here it is. Now I put a little bit of fiber fill in it just to make it a little poof out, but I don't know that it needs it. And it tends to open rather than stay like this, so I might knot the ends of the ribbon here so that it stays kind of pouchy. Is that a word? Pouchy? So there you go. And then I wanted to show you another piece. This is just stuck in this frame. It's not finished. It's not laced. This is a piece I had setting over here, and I've had a number of people ask about it. I did this again a couple years ago in 1864, obviously. Not really.
That's when you did it?
Yes. I'm very well preserved. It's by Chessie and Me, and it's called the 1864 House Sampler. Chessie and Me. Oops, let me get the glare so it's not so, well, 1864 House Sampler by Chessie and Me. And then I had I have shown you a lot of my finished pieces, framed pieces that were patriotic, but I didn't remember if I showed you this. So if I showed you this already, just ignore me. I think I've been talking about patriotic since April, so. You expect me to remember that far back? No. And this one is called Hannah's Brownstone. You walk past it every day in the hallway. It's there. Hannah's Brownstone. And it was an exclusive through Norden Crafts, so I don't know if it's still available or not. But it was a market exclusive. I don't see the name. I don't see the year. Hannah's Brownstone by Scarlet House and Norden Crafts. So I did that one a while ago as well. I was going to see if there's any kind of a date on it. Because maybe it's come out for everybody. I don't know. Oh, 2014. 10 years ago? Not sure. So that's what I wanted to show you as far as my finishes and a couple framed pieces, and I have a lot more pieces that I want to fully finish. So I'm going to show you those really quickly, and then I'll show you my finish, not fully finished. Well, these are all finishes. And then I'll show you what I've been stitching. And then a little bit of delightful deliveries and maybe a few fall things I want to work on. We'll see. Okay, so these are ones that I wanted to get fully FFO'd, but I didn't get to them. So this one is lesson 2 from Plum Street. You know, she did these ones that were the like cereal. This is the sampler cereal bowl collection of sampler lessons. I'm sure this is out by Plum Street. Lesson 2. It says, here's the stitched piece. I did this a while ago. Ever faithful, ever kind, firm and generous be thy mind. So that one needs some of these that are a little bit bigger. I don't know if I want to make pillows or stand-ups or frame them. I don't know. They'd be cute framed because so many of my framed pieces are big, and it's nice to be able to tuck in small ones. So I have that one. This is your grand old flag. But also, well, let me show you this first. Plum Street, your grand old flag. No, it's not called that. It's called Sampler House 3. There's 4 of these sampler houses. I think I've done 2 of the 4. I take that back. I think there's 5 of them, and I've done 2. So this is by Plum Street, Sampler House 3. And here's the piece. I love these trees. They were so fun. Your grand old flag. Sampler House 3. Love the bunting. It's just fun. Bunting on the sheep, I should say. How cute is that? Again, I mean, it's about 6 by 6, 6 by 7. So I don't know whether to frame it or not. Tell me what you think. The next one is another heartstring samplery for Spacious Skies. This has been out for a long time. I think I actually got this at Old Mill Stitchery. Heartstring samplery for Spacious Skies. And some of these, this one I don't think I used the called for. This is on, it's a picture this plus, it might be Heroic. Again, they're really too big to make pillows, and I have quite a few now of patriotic pillows, so like I said, it might be fun to frame. This is another one, and I'm definitely going to get order a frame for this one. This is Not Forgotten Farm, Flag Folk. And I stitched this with the country sampler conversion. However, it came with murky, and I ended up not liking the piece of murky. I like murky, but which is by Picture This Plus. It's the real kind of splotchy dark fabric. But the piece that I got, I wasn't crazy about, so I decided to do it on something else. I know I've shown you this one. So Flag Folk. by Not Forgotten Farm. Love the people. And this is on Heroic also by Picture This Plus. So I did change the linen from the kit, but I used the Country Sampler conversion for the threads. So that one I definitely want to frame. I want to frame this one. This is Liberty Inn by Plum Street. Plum Street, Liberty Inn. I think I did this one last year. It's one of those that you kind of worry, is the house going to show up? And it does. So worry no more. Liberty Inn by Plum Street. And one more. This is Flag Flock by Plum Street. Say that 3 times in a row. Our son used to say. Can you say that again? Can you say it backwards? Flag Flock by Plum Street. Love the sheep. Love the big long flag. So cute. And that's that one. So these last few, I'm definitely going to just go order frames from Hobby Lobby, and then we'll see. This is one I'm pretty sure I've shown you. This was a Maggie Bononomy class that I took 20 years ago probably. And it's wool and linen on, it's a fabric, but it's not muslin. It's heavier than muslin. I don't have the pattern. Liberty and Union, Now and Forever. Helps if I can read it right side up. Liberty and Union, Now and Forever, One and Inseparable by Webster. Quote by Webster, 1830. So you can see it's done with wool, and then there's some fabric. And then she gave us the piece. She gave us the verse so that we could trace it. So yeah, there's some things I want to order frames for. And then I had a finish. I showed you this last time I had started it. And last week I finished it. And that is God Bless America. I'm going to take this one out. Okay, so I made some changes to the colors on this one. So that's why, one of the reasons I want to. Okay, so on the picture, you can barely see, oh, God Bless America, Plum Street. You can barely see the roof. There were just colors that I thought they needed to show up better. Same with the beak on the eagle. You can barely see the eagle's head and then the beak. Now last time I had part of the bunting, or whatever you call those things, around the edge. What are they called? I'll think of it.
Go like this.
No, that's bunting. Pennies. I don't know if they're pennies or if they're bunting. But anyway, they're red, white, and blue. So, yeah, I changed. So this is my God Bless America finished. Oops. Got a wrinkle. So I'll talk about my changes. I changed the color of the roof to make it brighter. And I changed the beak on the eagle so it shows up. I think that's all I changed. And whoever decided to do backstitch stars, and they're not just like, you draw a star. No. You have to count to do those stars backstitch. Can you see them? And I left them till the end. I don't know what the reasoning for leaving it till the end is, but that's what I did. And not only are they on the house, they're all through the whole thing. I keep taking it, holding it up and taking it down. Here's some of them right here. Can you see them? Anyway, I'm glad it's finished. I want to order a frame for this one too. So, oh, let me tell you a little bit more about. So, first of all, I'll show you the back of the chart. Now, maybe this has been corrected on other printings, but the two DMCs are reversed. So in other words, the symbol for this one that says it's that, I can't read backwards, is really that. So in other words, the symbols are reversed. And I'll tell you how I knew that. Because when you look at the stars, there's stars, sorry, this is like complicated. See how the star has lighter yellow and then darker yellow or gold? Well, if I had done it according to the symbols, it would be the opposite. But because the picture showed the darker gold on the outside, I knew the symbols were reversed. So that was the first thing. So the darker one is the symbol number 3. I know this is a lot of time I'm spending on this, but if you're stitching this, the symbol number 3 is the darker one, and that's the one I used for the beak. It was charted to be done in this lighter yellow, but that's why it didn't show up. So I changed that. And then, oh, I didn't get out the threads. I probably put them back. There's two whites. There's this white that I used, or that's called for here, and that's what I used on the roof. There's two whites that are actually in the tail. One of them's kind of a gray. So that's the one that was supposed to be for the roof, and I used the lighter one. If you have any questions, if you're doing it and you have any questions, just send me, make a comment or send me a message through Instagram. Okay, all that to say, that's all. Now what have I actually been stitching? Well, I started this piece, which is called Sweet Land of Liberty. This is in a book by the same name, Sweet Land of Liberty by Blackbird Designs. I've done this one, which is right here. And I'm doing this one. I'd like to also do the bigger one, but not this year. So this is, it's called Sweet Land of Liberty. And the chart actually allows for the house to be kind of cut off on the side. So it's obviously designed to go into something round. Okay? So here's my progress, complete with a needle in it. Carol, Carol, Carol. When are you gonna learn? I guess never. If I haven't learned by my age, I probably won't learn. Anyway, I have been working on this a little bit. So here's my progress, and I'm doing this on Confederate Gray by Weeks, or Gray, whatever. I think it's, yeah, it's 40 count. I'm not 100% sure it's 40 count, even though it's marked 40 count. I think it's 36. So there's my progress on that one. Now they do it on this candlestick thing that they've painted and then use this ribbon that's pleated, but at Country Sampler, I bought this last year because they had it in here, but they must have used like 46 because it's going to be too big, I think. To fit into here. I don't know. Once it's done, we'll play with it. They had like, it was puffed up, so they obviously had some polyfill or something in there that made it puffed up. So if I can fit it in here, I'm going to. If not, I have this one that's like a little tart pan, and it has a little bit bigger opening. Actually, I lied. They're the same. But it's a little more open, so it would allow some of the stitches as they go down on the side to be seen, I think. You know, best laid plans of mice and men. And then here are the threads for that. I think these are also the threads to do the bigger piece. Okay, so that's another thing that I've been stitching. And then, I don't know, last time did I show you my eyes on the sparrow? This is by Heartstring Samplery. His eye's on this, it's not my eye, it's his eye is on the sparrow. A lot of people have finished this one. I probably worked on it, I like to work on it on Sundays, but I didn't work on it last Sunday. I think I did the previous Sunday. Sometimes I'll work on it like a Sunday, Monday. If I missed a Sunday, then sometimes I'll do that. It seems like I might have shown you this last time, but this is where I am. I have, the top is all done except filling in the cartouche. And then I'm working on the bottom. I'm sorry if I showed you this last time. So that's where I am on the bottom part. I'm heading toward the middle. It's very fun, and every time I do it, I try to, like every time I pick it up, I try to, my goal is at least 3 motifs. If I can get more, if they're small, I can get more, then that's great. I did make a mistake. My bird here has, instead of 2 rows of 3 for the neck, I did 3 rows of 3, which threw off a lot of other stuff, which is exactly why I do the border first. Because if I start gauging motifs based on other motifs, chances are I'll be off. But if I can relate it to the border, and I know the border's right, then I'll be okay. So that's kind of my theory on why I do the border first. So anyway, I'm gonna pick it up again this coming weekend and work on it and see where I get to. It is mirror image, so my dilemma is, do I do the same error on the other side so that they match? I kind of think I will. I don't know. That seems kind of dumb, but in the grand scheme of things, it probably won't matter one way or the other. So I've been working on that, and then I did start, and I didn't bring it. Shoot. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. I need to go. Okay, I'm back. The Villages of Huck Run Hollow, I've been working on Fridays with friends. I haven't really gotten any further. I've got these blocks finished. I think I've shown you this recently. I know my middle block next to the church is not, the tree's not finished. I know that. So that's where I am. So one more block and I'll be half finished on that. But in the meantime, through much encouragement, since my friends all say, you have to have at least 2 hot run hollows going at once. And it's like, who made up that rule? But obviously it's a rule. So I decided to start houses, which is really probably my favorite anyway. I love houses. I love houses. You can tell I have houses. Oops. Let's see, go this way? No, go this way. Houses, there's a house up there. I probably have 5 big wooden houses. They're all over they're houses within the house. Anyway, houses, I love that. So for me, if I'm on a Zoom call or stitching with friends, it's just easier to not have to count a lot. Because I get off counting when I'm by myself. Why add fuel to the fire by exposing your counting to being with friends? So I'm just doing the blocks. Have I shown you this? See, this is what happens when I don't go back and watch my other video, but it's just painful. So I'm just filling in the outlines of the blocks. And I'm using NPI silks on both this one and on Village. And once you get a couple of them done, then you can base on each other. Does that make sense? So like this one, I can come partway down and then come partway over, and then they'll meet. And then I can go partway down and then partway over, and then they'll meet. You know, it's like once you count out 3 or 4 blocks, then you kind of smooth sailing. I did the same on this one, on Village. I did all the blocks first. The outlines of the blocks is what I'm trying to say. Okay, and then we get to my main squeeze. I love this chart. I love this chart. Love it. Plum Street, live on little. So I think, plans change, but I think I want to work on this till it's finished. Christine Hollis Hands Create, has a summer sal that's called Summer Holiday Sal. I think that's the name. I'm not sure. Watch Christine's videos, Hollis Hands Create. She has a wonderful Etsy shop as well as she does videos. So anyway, I read on the back that the model stitcher did it in 3 weeks. Surely I can do it in 5 weeks. So I'll show you where I am. I showed you this last time, and I have made some progress. Some of it's kind of hard to see because there's going to be other colors around it. And then I have a story to tell about this. Did I bring the threads? Yes. No. Maybe so. Did not bring the threads. Shoot. I'm gonna have to take another break in a minute. Let me go do that. Okay, I'm back. This is a little story about DMC. And hopefully you can tell the difference. So here's my progress. I have the bottom part done, the grass and the whatever the gold is. I thought maybe it was sand, but it should be whiter if it's sand, but whatever. Got the boat or ship. So I started working on these waves. And I was working on this last night, and again I left a needle. I started working on the waves, and you can see over here I've got my waves were not showing up at all. I mean, there was a faint a very faint blue of the waves. So Christy Crosshatch Quilts, if you don't watch her, you should. She just finished this. So I messaged her and I said, did you change the colors on the waves? And she said, no, I used the called for. Well, here's the called for. It's DMC 926 and 927. So I thought, well, maybe the dye lots have changed with DMC. Bingo. So I'm going to take these off here so I can show you better. Because I think this is important. If you're somebody that's stitched for a long time and you have some older stash of DMC, you might want to take a look at it. This is 926. I know I've put it on a thread drop, but take my word for it, it's 926. This is also 926. Can you see the difference? Okay, let me do it this way so it's really obvious. So 926 is the wave, not the water, but the wave. Look at the difference in those two colors. The newer is bluer. Can you see that? Fortunately, I had 2 skeins of the newer. I think I had more, and I had like 8 skeins. Don't ask me why. Except that I used to do a lot of, more embroidery and things like that. So I used to use a lot more DMC. But see the difference? This is the newer and this is the older. And then this is 927. And these are also different. Now this is very subtle. The top one is the older, and then the lighter on the bottom is the newer. So if I was using the newer 927 and the older 926, it just wasn't even showing up. I know they look like that would be a contrast, but not really. They just weren't even showing up. So solve the dilemma, get the newer bluer of the 926. And if you have an older 927, use that. I mean, yeah, an older one, because it's lighter than the newer one. Can you see the top one is darker? The top one is the newer one. So in this one, you want to use the 927 if you have an older one. But if at least you get the bluer, newer. Poet and don't know it, got big feet and sure do show it. If you use the older 927 and the newer 926, you'll be fine because there's enough variation in color. I hope that was clear as mud. Because it was quite a dilemma. I had to go through a lot of my DMC that's not on thread drops and compare and test them on fabric and all of that before I could realize that it was the dye lots. Now, when did they change the dye lots? I don't know. I have one of those DMC cards, that opens up and has the little samples of all the colors of thread. Mine matched my older, so I have an older chart. It matched the older, so that kind of makes sense. So I don't know about the newer, but now I'm happy all the day. Anyway, because there's the contrast. So anyway, this one I am going to work on it. I know Christine's Sal goes from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Now once August, I get into August, but I'd like to work on this till it's finished. So we'll see. Got more time in July. And then I'd love to have it done like first week in August. That's pretty optimistic. But I'm gonna keep plugging away. And I don't know that I will do like His Eyes on the Sparrow on Sundays. I don't know. the way I finished that God Bless America that I finished by Plum Street, I just worked. I just stitched monogamously. I'm channeling my inner Tara Sullivan because she works monogamously on a piece and has like, what, 4 whips? Sure. We'll see. Okay, speaking of August and speaking of fall stitching, because once September hits, I'm going to work on samplers. Now, last year I did the crazy thing to go along with Narissa. If you're not watching Narissa, you need to. Narissa's, it's Stitching Lifestyle. She's phenomenal. And she does Christmas in July, which I got to thinking, she does a lot of Christmas in July because it's wintertime down there in July. So that probably is very motivating because the weather corresponds with what you're stitching in Christmas in July. Now, their actual Christmas in December is in summer, but anyway. And it's hot here year round, so I don't know how that logic even makes any sense. So just ignore me. Go to somebody else and just say, well, she's crazy. I'm going to go watch somebody that's normal. I don't know. Are there normal cross stitchers? That might be debatable. I'm sure there are. So I got to thinking about fall, and there's tons of things. They're all over here, so excuse me while I reach. There's tons of things that I would love to stitch that are fall. However, in an effort to get my whip count lowered, I decided rather than start anything new, whatever time I have in August, I'm going to use on my whips. So I'm just going to show you a few of my whips. A couple of them are big, but most of them are pretty small. So that's what I want to try to get some little smalls in that are fall. Small falls, fall smalls. Did you watch Sandlot? You're killing me, Smalls. Most people are like, what in the world are you talking about? Okay, so this is Jack-o'-Lantern Jubilee by With Thy Needle and Thread. So I pulled out my bag that has the fabric and the called for threads that are a mess. Wait a minute here, let me get a little more organized. Pretty it up a little bit. How fun is that? Floss bling. Cute oranges, blacks, of course, black and orange. And then the fabric is, don't tell me. Brenda's Brew by R&R. And I have a fairly big chunk. I have some pieces and then I have another bigger piece. So I got this out and I thought, well, this would be good. I could do some little smalls in between my land that I love. I know that's mixing fall and patriotic, and maybe that's frowned on in some circles. But I'm going to be bold and I'm going to do it. So I'm going through things that needed to be fully finished, and lo and behold, I have one of them already done. I'll never forget, somebody asked me, do you remember everything you've ever stitched? I'm like, oh, of course I do. Obviously I lied, because after I saw it, I thought, oh yeah, I forgot I did that last year. So I have one done. So now I only have 4 to do. How many designs are there? Oh, there's 6. So I have 5 more to do. But, so, that could be some smalls to work on. And then, let's see, some of these aren't smalls, but these are kind of smalls. This is Blackbird Designs Casting a Spell, the box. I have everything done but the 4 corners, and they are small. So there's an example of some smalls that I can. Now, the only thing that keeps me from picking this up is it's done on 2 strands on 30 count, something like that. So this is where I am. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've started on one of the smalls. And this is on 30 count Confederate or regular gray, whatever it's called. So, oh, I don't have them all done, or do I? The one with the C. Oh yeah, that's finished. This one, only mine has a C. I was thinking it wasn't done, but it is. So I just have those 4 corner pieces, which are smalls. Threads. That's got like a, what's that name of that art? I can't remember. It's like the pilgrim lady that's just sitting in a chair. It's a famous piece of art, but the name escapes me. See her? Probably can't see her. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's, so now we're up to 5 smalls. And then 5 meaning trick or treat. No, 4 plus 5, that's 9. And then I have this book, Tricks or Treats by Blackbird. And I have a bunch of, this one I've actually started. And this is an orange, this is probably like a 30 count or 28 count. It's also kind of stretched out a little bit. And it is this one, the Black Cat. Let me see if I have a better picture of that one. No, I don't. But anyway, this has some really cute smalls in it. And so I have that one to finish. And then, I don't know if you've ever ordered from Hoop and Frame Legacy Linens. No, one of these is from Legacy Linens. So it came with like, this is a sample of a new color. And then this came with XJU order, just a free little sample. And then I have some other like scraps. This came off of my July Hoopla. So those are kind of fun to tuck in there. And maybe that'll work for some of these littler pieces. I already did the pumpkin one. I did that a couple years ago. But it'd be fun even if I just do partial. Like I love this bird, you know. Anyway, that's some more smalls. And then I have this one that I started last year, Blackbird Fractor by Plum Street. Now, I put these away and then I get them back out. So some of my patriotic that I didn't get finished this year will probably be put away. We'll see. But this to me is a very in-between time. 4th of July is over, technically patriotic, but yet to me summer is patriotic. So that's why I leave some of this stuff up for a little while yet. So Blackbird Fractor by Plum Street, and this is where I am on this one. I need to cut the linen because it's way too much. So I have the moon. I started on the bird. I have, you know, so I know the boundaries of it, and I love this. There's also another one that's just called Autumn Fractor. I'd love to do that too. Okay, so there's that. And this one, some of these are on the called for. I think when I get back to doing them, I'll talk a little bit more about the linens. So that one. And then last year I also got some work done on Olga's Autumn Stocking, also by Plum Street. And this is where I am. This is on Pearl Barley. See that cute little bling on there? So this is where I am on this one. The house is done and I'm working down. Now, don't panic. This is a big piece of linen, so I'll have room for the stocking to come down and over. So I won't cut any off until I get it finished. So yeah, that's where I am on this one. Love doing these leaves, they're really fun. And then I have this one, and I know this is in a book somewhere, but I've looked and I didn't find it is it Last Winds of Autumn or something like that. There's 2 fall books that Blackbird's put out, but this was I can't remember if it was a Dying to Stitch kit but it's called Kindred Spirits. It's by Blackbird and Soul Sisters. Soul Sisters may have, I can't remember if that was Dying to Stitch or Country Sampler. But the name of it is Kindred Spirits, and I have complete kit to do all the stuff. Okay, Carol, where's the piece? Well, that's a good question. It's in here somewhere amidst this mess. I'll find it. And it ends up being a drum. Now, it's not specifically autumn, but it's all these autumn colors. And it's a pretty big drum, actually. And it's supposed to be a friendship thing, but I think I'm going to put like either my mom's family or my dad's family or whatever. But that's where I am. I started this a long time ago. I just need to get it done. This is on a Picture This Plus. Maybe Ale, Wren, one of those. And then I started this last year, Raven Bewitched, also by Blackbird Designs. And this one I'm not sure what I'm working on here, but this is where I am on this one. Not very far. I need to get going because my husband's going to think this is going to be like way too long. And then last year I also started Jack's Bash by Plum Street. Obviously I really like Plum Street's, both patriotic and autumn, fall, Halloween pieces. So I have a slight start on that, complete with thread trailing. So that's one that's a little bigger, but one I'd like to get back to. And then I have 2 others. This one is First Winds of Autumn, the big, huge strawberry. I think Olivia Pumpkin Hollow just finished this one and framed it. But this originally was a Dying to Stitch kit. And I barely have a start on this one. Yeah, barely a start. I started at the bottom. So I'd like to get back to that for sure. Get that big old bird done. And one other, this is also called The Beast. And this one is Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain by Kathy Barrick. Now, this is not small by any means. This one I'm doing on Hog Bristle by Fox and Rabbit. And I have a little bit of this one done. I'm working on the top half. Now it's on the floor. Sorry for the wrinkles. Some of these things have been packed away, so not packed away, but in my fall basket. So that's where I am on this one. And I'm really ready to start on the big moon in the middle. So that'll probably be what I work on next, which is some great fill-in. And I'm using the NPI silks for that one. So that is all my stitching. I wanted to show you just a few things that I got in the mail. Man, what a mess. I know I'm still going. This was the exclusive through the Homespun Needlework group on Facebook. This is Sarah Sanderson's 1872 by the Scarlet House. And I got it kitted. It comes kitted. And then this was an exclusive through Kitten Stitcher, also by Scarlet House. I just ordered the pattern. And this one is Mary Finlay. Finlay. I also, once I finished the mini moon, I got the Christmas mini moon by Plum Street. I want to do all the moons. And then one of the newer patterns by Plum Street. This is where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. I love that verse. It's one of her brand new ones. And then I'm in a Seraphim linen club from Victorian Rose. And this is the latest one that we got this month. This is Summer Storm. It's a real pretty blue-gray. And that is all I have. That's enough. I hope you all hung with me. Now I have a lot to clean up, but that's okay. It's worth it. So I hope you all are having a good summer, even if it's hot. Just go stick your head in the freezer. You know, you'll get some relief. We had one weekend that we actually had a tornado like a half mile away. That
2 blocks.
my husband said 2 blocks away, and it took down a huge tree, so we didn't have power for like. Did I already tell you all this? You know, I tell so many stories. It's like, I'm at that age where my grandmother used to repeat stuff all the time. When she lived with us for a while, she would live with us for like a month, and then she'd go to someplace else and live, you know, one of her other children, and live for another month. But she would drive my mom nuts. It was her mom, so she'd be like, "I've heard that story 10 times," because she would repeat herself. I guess I'm there. So, Grandma, you got good company. She's long gone. But anyway, now. Do you remember what I was going to say, dear? Can you help me out?
Something about the tornado.
Oh, yes, the tornado. So it took down a huge tree. I mean, huge tree, like 6 foot in diameter. Took out all the power for all this residential area. So we were without power from like 2 in the afternoon till almost 11 at night. So fortunately we had, I think I told you this, because I said we had a generator. We have a generator, so we were able to have the refrigerator going. So if it got too hot, you just stick your head in the freezer for a little while. So anyway, all that to say, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying out of the heat, and I will be back when I'm back. I'm not going to do necessarily every 2 weeks anymore. I'm just going to wait until I have enough to show and, you know, just progress on stuff. So anyway. I might be back in a week, I might be back in a month. Who knows? So anyway, love you. Bye.